With my newfound power, I shall set this world ablaze. Hello everybody, welcome back to FTB Skies. The reason I'm glowing is because I got a new ability. It allows entities in my area to glow, so that also affects me, so that's why I'm glowing. But enough about that. So I want to keep what I've done in between episodes brief because we actually are going to have quite a bit to do today. So I moved all my create stuff over to that island, and I've set up these ender pearl blocks to be able to do this. Oh, there we go. Instant travel. Well, I mean instant if I can line it up correctly. But I just go this way, and I can go back that just by crouching and looking at the thing. It's very handy. And I set up the grid to come all the way over to here for whenever I need to automate create stuff. The downside to this was I wasn't actually able to move all of my sifters, so I had to bring back the Starbuncle wheels. So at some point in between episodes, I'll probably set up like a windmill or something like that, and it'll do just fine. And lucky for me, it looks like the rain has just stopped. So that is good. So you all remember last video how I made this whole boiler thing. I originally made it over there. Well, I was able to get this thing up to the max size, so you know that's already a good thing. But with this max size and max capacity of water, we're still lacking in the heat department. We're only at halfway. This is not acceptable. So to this video, we're going to be superheating the blazeburners without the use of blaze cakes. It's gonna be interesting. So in order for us to be able to do that, firstly, we're going to need to start getting into industrial foregoing. And what we're going to need is the latex stuff for, you know, plastic and all that, because that is an essential thing. So we're going to need fluid extractors and latex processing units. So let's start with the fluid extractor, which actually has a very simple recipe to it. I just got rid of it from my thing. So let's see what all I have and what I'm missing. Okay, of course I'm going to be missing these things. I am going to need quite a few of these. I think like 3 for the setup I'm gonna do. So we just need to make 3 of all of these. Well, actually this thing I'm gonna need quite a few of. And then we grab this, 1, 2, 3, and there we go. We now have the fluid extractors. So then the next thing we'll need after that is the latex processing unit. But in order for us to be able to make that, we need to have latex already. So let us set up the little, well, setup. So I can probably do this right here. So let's see, which direction does it face? It faces this way. I don't want it doing that. I kind of want it to face the other direction. So let's put it like that. Yeah, that'll be a good way. Then we just have everything set up in this little formation. Yeah, that looks good. So then after that is set up, then we're going to need a block placer. Now, industrial foregoing does have a block placer, but I found that the cyclic one is much simpler to obtain. So let's just grab that really quickly, and there we go. Now we have this one. Then we can put this thing right here. Maybe it does not show the area. That is unfortunate, so it's probably going to be facing the direction that I'm in. But that's not a problem, so we just need to go into here, and then, yeah, there we go. And then to test this, let's put dirt. Oh, I had it on requires redstone, that's why. Okay, so yes, this thing does indeed work. So yeah, now whenever there's a block in there, it will work nice and properly. Now, the way that these are supposed to work is, if I get some logs and then put this into here, it'll then put the log down, and now all of these things are starting to accumulate latex. And if I were to power each of these things, it would go much faster. However, that being said, power is running a little scarce, so I think sometime next video I'm probably going to work towards another power source, because those windmills up there, they're good, but they're not this good. And I know this because when I set up this thing, I'm actually having trouble keeping up with the energy. I had to put another dynamo over here just to keep this powered, so that way I could keep that thing powered. That's partially the reason why we're doing this now, is so that way we can keep up with everything. So now we can also grab ourselves some fluid pipes, and then we can also make a fluid tank. And the reason we can do this is so that way whenever these things make even the slightest bit of latex, it'll just go instantly into the fluid tank. Then we just need to hook all of these things up, and then once this thing reaches a bucket, we'll be able to make the latex processing unit, so that way we can start processing it. And when it's processed, it makes this stuff called tiny dry rubber. With that, we make dry rubber, and then with that, we make plastic. I need 6 of this plastic, so that means I need about 52 of this stuff. No, not 52. Somewhere in the 50s. 54, I was close. 2 off. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this thing going for a little bit, and I'll see you all when it's ready.
A few moments later.
Now we've got a bucket of latex all ready to go, and then we're also going to need a bucket of water. And then if we take both of these over here, we should have everything in order to make... Oh, no, apparently I needed a furnace. And then now we should be able to use the latex processing unit. There we go. And then the rest of this can just go into here. Actually, we did just get some achievements for the industrial stuff. So, hopefully, this should give us something. So let's see, the processing unit didn't give us anything, but... Oh... Well, I mean, at least I got another bucket to replace that one. I guess I didn't really lose anything in the end. So, now that we have this latex processing unit, we can put this thing right here, let's say. And I'm pretty sure this thing does require power versus the other things. So, in this thing, we need 2 things. We need both latex and water to throw into here. So... rather than just keeping on just throwing buckets in there over and over again, we're just gonna make another sink. So after that, we can then just throw this here. I do want to disconnect it from this side, because we don't want any of that going wrong. And the best part is, even if some latex accidentally goes into there, it's no problem. So then, just fill that up, and whammo, infinite water. Now the sad part is, I am actually out of fluid pipes. So, yeah, we're just gonna have to take in the latex. There we go. And then just pour all of these into here, and now, it should start processing latex. So let's see, how much does it use for one? It uses 100. Okay, so if I need 54 of these, and it takes 100, I need 5,400, which means I need 5,400 millibuckets. Quick maths. Either way, at least what this means is this shouldn't actually take too long. I am just going to need at least 2 more buckets, maybe 3. But yeah, I should be done with this soon.
5 minutes later.
Alrighty, and here we go. We have enough tiny dry rubber, and it's actually still making some more because, you know, I had to put in a full bucket. But other than that, though, we now have enough of this stuff. So that literally only took me about like 5 minutes of waiting for that to go together. So yeah, this is good. So with this, yes, it does indeed give us all 6. So then after that, we just smelt this one, and I'm not going to wait any longer for that, so let's just speed this up a good bit. Yeah, that's good enough. And this is what the plastic looks like. It looks kind of like little stacks of graham crackers when you have them bunched together. That's kind of what this looks like. Alrighty, so now that we have these things, this is going to be a vital ingredient for something else that we're going to be making in relevance to that. This is actually where we're going to get into making the stuff that we're going to need for this. Now listen, as you all know, these blaze burners are fueled by fluids right now, and that's going to be the easiest way to do this. So in order for me to superheat these and get them at their maximum level heat, I need A, something that is as a fluid, and B, something that is self-sustaining, something that I can keep going. And I have that right here. So, if you want to replicate this recipe, you're going to want to write this down. So, I'm going to give you a bit to be able to get some stuff.
12 seconds later.
You got everything? Okay, good. So here's what we're going to need. We're going to need 3 funnels, 1 brass tunnel, 4 gearboxes, 5 belts, 15 shafts, 17 chain drives, 1 spores reactor, 2 sinks, 1 bioreactor, 2 ender tanks, and 2 mushrooms. Did you get all that? Good. Now, I said specifically a brass tunnel because that's the only one that makes this thing work for some reason. I did test this thing out in my test world. So in order for me to get brass, I'm doing this alone since I haven't actually shown you guys how to get brass yet. We actually need to throw in copper and zinc inside of this thing right here. And I actually haven't seen this done like this yet, so I really wanted to see it. So let's all share in this experience together. So am I allowed to right click it, or can I just, okay, I think I have to throw it in. Yep, and then it should all just mix down, and there we go. It is all mixed together. Now, if I did have this thing channeling down to here, I could instantly make some brass plates, but that's not what I want. Okay, so now that I've listed everything off, let me go and gather most of those things really quickly, and then I will continue on. Okay, so I have almost everything we need. The only two things that I did not grab was the bioreactor and the spores reactor. And because these things are also kind of industrial foregoing-y, so, you know, they kind of go with the previous things we were doing. So with this thing, we have the bioreactor. And what this thing is going to do is it's going to take in certain physical things and then make biofuel. And then right here, we just need to grab ourselves a couple of gears, and then we have the spores reactor. And what this thing does is actually very, very special. So let's put this thing right here for now, just so that way we can get a sample of its almighty power. So I put one mushroom right into here, and then I'm also going to need just a bucket of water. Then we can throw that into here, and this is one of the reasons why we needed the two sinks, was both for the spores reactor and for the bioreactor. The one mushroom has become two. So basically this thing right here is a mushroom duplicator. I have frozen. That's basically what these things are going to do. This is going to make mushrooms, and then this thing is going to make biofuel. And what's special about biofuel, that biofuel superheats blaze burners for 21 minutes versus blaze cakes, which only do it for about 2. So already, biofuel is infinitely better. So all of this is going to be for a biofuel automation. So yeah, it's gonna be friggin' awesome. Why do I still have more than 2 mushrooms? I do not need more than 2 mushrooms. Well, I mean, you know what? It's fine. It'll still work for a specific purpose. So now that we have everything ready, we just need to set this up. I'm gonna set it up over the side of this thing, maybe? Yeah, because it'll probably still need to be on land. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do this over the side of the ledge. Now, in order for me to do this, I am going to need to start rearranging this thing just a little bit. So we take down this, and I actually, now that I think about it, I didn't actually need to make a 4th gearbox since I already had one. But you know what? This is fine. So firstly, what we need to do is we just need to put a gearbox right there, and we actually need to take this and this one away. Now, I know this might seem controversial to take this thing apart, but trust me, this is what we need to do. So, from here, we then need to part some chain drives. So, put one here, and then we can put another one here, and this will all keep it connected together. From right here, we then need to put another chain drive right here, and then we'll also need another one here for later use. So then we just need to keep this thing along about 3 right to here, and then I'm also going to need to change this one right back. There we go. And then here is where we're going to need to use our first 2 shafts. So we put some like this, and then we use the first of the 5 belts right there, and it is going in the proper direction. That means so far I am doing this correctly. So then after that, then we're going to need another shaft, but it needs to be facing this direction. And then this is going to need to go out about 4 blocks. So this will be the first one, then 2, 3, 4. And then on this 4th one can be where I use the shaft. So then after that, then we need to connect these things to use the secondary belt, which will not be powered just yet. And then on the far end of this one, right here, this is where we can put the brass tunnel right there. And in front of that is where the next conveyor belt is going to go, about 3 out. Then we connect these 2 together, and then bam, that is this portion of it done. So now we need to start putting chain drives back on. So first we put one here, and then here, and then here. That one up there is not part of the thing, so we need to take that down. Hang on a second, I accidentally did something wrong. I don't need that one to be there. I need this one to be down here, and it actually will end up going for a 4th, so I might as well set that up now. It was my mistake because at the end right here, we need a gearbox. And then we're going to need, I think, it looks like about 2 shafts. Yes, it will be, because after that, we're going to be using the rest of those things, and I'm currently falling. So now we can bring the rest of these things all the way over to here? What? Alright, so it turns out I accidentally miscounted on the amount of chain drives I need. I actually needed 18. I accidentally miscounted one off when I had tested this. So, yep, mistake on my part, but at least this is how we know this is, in fact, the final one of these. I'm falling again. So then we put this right here, and it should put the rest of this into motion, and it is still going in the correct way. Yes, so we do know that this is still working. So then after that, now we need to put another one right here, and this is where I can hook this one up to. I need my wrench back, and then that should be going in this direction. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so now in order to be able to mark this part, I need to put a block here, and then right here is where we're going to be putting the spores reactor. And then on the two sides of this, here and then over here, we can then put the funnels. So then underneath this block right here, we can then put this thing, and then we need the second to last belt going right there. And there we go. That is how we know that all of this is working properly. And then we can use another shaft and put that one right into there. And here, we use one of the last gearboxes. I could have sworn this was the last one. Oh, wait, no, right, this is the last one. I just had an extra because I had that one over there still. Okay, so then we can use this stuff to go right into here, and bwammo. Now all of this is working properly. Everything is going in its roundabout motion. So now what we're gonna need to do is we're going to need to bring out a couple of shafts right up to there. And then we're going to need a couple of blocks height distance for up here. I don't know how high this needs to be exactly, because I kind of can't tell from the screenshot I took from the thing to be able to help me to figure this out. So we're gonna say about 2, maybe 3. So let's start with the 2 and then see if that works. So put this right here. Okay, and if this doesn't work, then we'll know that this isn't actually proper. Okay, yeah, it does need to be one more. It may actually need to be out. That may be the case, actually. So now, if we do this, yes, there we go. Now it works. And then we can just take away this block, and there we go. Everything is functioning properly now. So then the last thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put another block here, the bioreactor right here, and then we put this thing's funnel right here. There we go. That is the whole setup essentially done. The last things we need to do is hook up the sinks to their proper placements. I forgot that I'm going to need some fluid pipe, but I can grab those in a second. And then they're only going to need power as well. That is good. So let me go grab the pipes as well as some points, and we're going to be done.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
And there we go. Now everything here is powered, and this thing processes at about 5 seconds. So, by the way I've set this up, by the time one mushroom comes back, the other one should already be done. So if we put these things into here, this thing is going to process, and it's going to duplicate, causing it to go out. Then those things go out into here, and then one goes up there, the other one goes back for processing to make another mushroom, and then the ones that come up here are the ones that make the biofuel. So each of these blaze burners can hold 4 buckets of fluid, and it only takes 1 bucket to superheat them for about 21 minutes, and it'll take 39 minutes for all of these things to be filled all the way to max. And the reason why that's not a problem is because once these things are filled up to enough, by the time the 21 minutes is done, we're still going to have some more waiting for it, and then this thing can continue on. Basically what this means is this is all self-sufficient. It doesn't need anything else. We are done here. So the last thing that I would need to do would be to change the ender tank down there to match this one's light blueness, and it will start to pump biofuel in here instead of lava once all of these things are done. So we put this here, and yep, there it is. The ender tank is now full of biofuel. So then we can just put this thing down, this thing back, and then we put this back up here as well. Now, I could just wait here for all of the lava to dissipate, or I can just do this on all of these things and then just put them back to be ready to be filled with their biofuel. Put those things all together, and yes, look at that! They're already being superheated. Yes. So now we just need this final row to be ready, and there we go. With all of this at its point, this thing is now superheated. So once all of them become superheated, this boiler will be at its maximum tier. And the best part is I will always only have just 2 mushrooms running through this system. No more, no less. It'll be completely balanced. It will not overflow. It is going to be absolutely perfect. There we go. Full steam. We have finally maxed this thing all the way out. And as I'd said before, with the blaze cakes, these things only last 2 minutes. With 1 bucket of these things, it lasts 21 minutes. So this thing is already infinitely better and way easier to automate than blaze cakes. Oh my gosh. It's a lot smaller than I was expecting it to be too. But still, at the end of the day, after rigorous experimentation and finally putting it into execution, my dream has been realized. With the power of mushrooms, we now have an infinite amount. Well, not really infinite, but we have a maximum amount of 294,000 stress units. Oh my goodness. Now, unfortunately, this isn't an achievement to do inside of this thing, which I wish it frickin' was. That would be awesome. But you know what? At the end of the day, I suppose it's fine. But since we haven't really done any achievements yet, I figure we might as well do some right now. So I already got all of that stuff out of the way. So now I can make way for the next thing I want to do, being just straight up achievements. So we need to make a chute. Then we just click on this, put it in my inventory, and yeah. There we go. I now have that achievement all ready and done. Honestly, I'm really glad I did this. Again, even though this wasn't actually a part of the achievements, this was still a good thing to do. And like I said, if you guys want to be able to replicate this, I haven't actually seen this anywhere else. This might only be available in this mod pack, but if it's not, and you want to be able to replicate this whole thing yourself, feel free to do so. I have no qualms with that. I mean, people probably would have done it anyways, but still, now you at least know you've got the okay. So really now all that's left for me to do is to just claim all of my rewards. Not much rewards, I'm going to be entirely honest, but still a pretty good amount. And then we can throw this thing right back here to pump energy back into there. That's not going to be enough, but still, it is going to be a good bit more progression. So all of that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my last FTB Skies video. Bye-bye!